कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निधि नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद
Shri
गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर
Advaita
कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
कृष्ण
Krishna
कृष्ण हरे हरे
Krishna
हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna Krishna Krishna
हरे हरे हरे
Hare
राम
Ram
राम
Rama
हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण
Krishna
हरे 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 राम राम
Rama
हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna
कृष्ण
Hare Krishna
कृष्ण
Krishna Krishna
हरे हरे
Hare Rama Hare
राम
Rama
राम
Rama
हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare
Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
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 Rama Hare
Rama,
Rama Rama Hare
Hare.
Daya Prabhupada 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 Srila Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada
हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्री गौर निताय की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन मैराथन की जय। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने, नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। Hare Krishna, everybody. My humble obeisances to all devotees and particularly to senior devotees who have joined us today for the first ICC Marathon Warriors 2022 inspirational program. A warm welcome to everybody who's here and who's going to join. We begin this inspirational event today by our ICC chairman, His Grace Sahadev Prabhuji, who's there with us right now, who always empowers and encourages this ICC Book Distribution Committee for conducting these various programs. So, firstly, His Grace Sahadev Prabhuji will announce today the All India target for this year's marathon. Right after that, our chairman would be launching the ICC Book Distribution app, come website, right, named Srila Prabhupada's Brihad Mridanga. After that, we will have an exclusive interview today with His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu, the Director of Marketing, Communications and Innovations at BBT and the driving force behind global book distribution. Last, we would be having some announcements regarding pledges for this marathon, right? A little bit information about Marathon Warriors campaign for India and dates of some other inspirational programs, which would be later on. And then we close for today. So now I would like to request our ICC chairman, His Grace Sahadev Prabhuji, for to kindly lead us.
Thank you, Praneshwar Prabhu, and thank you all the enthusiastic Indian leaders And thank you, Vaisesika Prabhu, for gracing the occasion today. This is a real fortune and privilege to be in association of you all, and a fortune and to be scripting, history in the service of Srila Prabhupada. So this is the only good news. There are a lot of news which are not very encouraging. So last year, India is, very enthusiastically taking this mission forward. Lot of enthusiastic and fired up book distributors here. So this is all the transcendental mercy that is flowing. And our only good fortune is that we are being made instrument. We are being made an humble instrument in the hands of Srila Prabhupada and other acharyas. So let us continue to push with redoubled enthusiasm. Last year, I remember the target we set was 23 lakhs of Mahabig books during this marathon. And 25 lakhs, of course, we are not counting other books, but 2.59 million was the target we could achieve last year. So India is almost always exceeding its own set targets. And we have got a long way to go. We can pray because Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, Guru and Gauranga, they grant the devotees. We can pray to them. And let us continue to push forward. Now, this year's target, as was decided by you all, is 2.7 million Mahabig books. Hare Krishna. So we pray that the target gets exceeded. The mercy point, prayers, even when Krishna's father is trapped by the snake, Vidyadhara snake, even he has to pray. Prayer is an essential part of our service. In Vrajvasis, they are praying, please swallow. Krishna sees everything, but he expects us to pray. So I'll just close. So thank you, Praneshwar Prabhu and all other enthusiasts, Vedant Chaitanya Prabhu and all the enthusiastic team of Indian leaders. So I'll just close with a very small story that there was in Russia. I was just reading the other day in a city called Sazdol, or however you pronounce it. It's a Orthodox Christian place. With every corner has a church, and a devotee is morning till evening. He's going around. Not a single book he could push. While returning, he just prayed, Krishna, please let your will be executed. Here is the church. I'm going to present the book to the first person or the priest I meet in the church. He enters desolate, empty church. Then he sees the basement. He walks down the steps and he sees a monk sitting there. As soon as he sees somebody coming, he just pushes something under his desk and looks a little surprised. And then he greets him, and how can I help you? So then he presents the Srila Prabhupada book, and he talks of that we are visiting city. These are the books about God. Then the tears start streaming down. And he says, and he pulls out Srimad Bhagavatam 12th, second canto under his desk. He says, I have been secretly reading for a long time this particular book, and I have been praying for these cantos, rest of the cantos to come. Please give me all the books that you got with you today. So anyway, so the idea is the story goes on, and he talks about he's praying to Jesus and he's chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Actually, we are nothing but the part of a grand master plan. And let us do our bit. Let us do our bit. This is what is substantial work, substantial service. And thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Sadev Prabhuji, for this most inspiring Sankirtan story and your exhilarating speech as usual. As you said, this is the only good news we have in this world. So that's the target for all India, a very much possible and doable target, 27 lakhs or 2.7 million Mahabig books. And of course, every little book counts, every little book distributor counts, right? No, of course, no book distributor is little, they're all big. So All India Contest Marathon Warriors is India's contribution and a part of the global campaign for marathon called Live to Give campaign. The best thing to give to the world is actually Srila Prabhupada's books. So His Grace Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhu from ISKCON Noida is there with us today. He is our overall coordinator for ISKCON India Marathon Warriors campaign 2022. Right, so next, now the exciting moment has arrived for launching the ICC book distribution app for ISKCON India. Today is also an auspicious day, Ekadashi, for launching this app. So before we launch the app, I would like to thank all the devotees who were instrumental in making this app come true. It's like a dream come true. Firstly, we would like to thank our ICC chairman, His Grace Sahadev Prabhuji, who always supports us for all our activities, and he's the main inspiration behind this app. Next, we would like to thank His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He's the exalted captain of this gigantic ship of ISKCON India's book distribution. And we'd also like to thank other senior devotees and all the book distributors of India. We would like to thank His Grace Bhima Prabhu, who actually reached out to this committee around 6 months before, and he expressed that there was a problem of getting scores from ISKCON India leaders. He said leaders and book distributors are not reporting their scores regularly, and that at least monthly the score should come. So we are very, very happy to announce that this app not only will give monthly scores, but live scores at any moment. And we are hoping that it would enhance the book distribution in India. We would like to thank His Grace Rahul Joshi Prabhu for providing the excellent wireframe for this app. Also, we'd like to thank our committee members, His Grace Baldev Prabhu, His Grace Narottam Priya Prabhu, His Grace Vedant Chaitanya Prabhu for inputs on the app. Lastly, we would like to thank His Grace Sitaram Prabhu for providing us funds, and also his IT team who actually worked on the app, Narottam Priya Prabhu, His Grace Dayamai Devika Mataji, Ashish Prabhu for actually working on the app and making this come true. Right, so a lot of effort has gone into making this app come true. I would now request His Grace Sahadev Prabhuji to please share his screen, and he can launch the app by logging into the app. Right, right. So kindly proceed ahead, Sahadev Prabhuji. Please give sharing rights to Sahadev Prabhuji. You can just make him co-host.
Thank you. So I'm just trying to share and find where is my Microsoft Safari. Yeah, here you go. Okay, one second. Just a second. Here you go. Okay, yeah.
Just after launching, Narottam Priya Prabhu, he would give us a
there is some anyway, some small issue. 1 second, I have to open my system preferences. Okay, 1 second.
Okay.
Quickly.
In case you need some time, Prabhuji, we can take a tour and
Yeah.
then come back to you.
Yeah, you can take a tour, please. Please go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I would request His Grace Narottam Priya Prabhu, right, who's one of our ICC Book Distribution Committee members, to give us a quick tour on this app, right, on this Wonder app, right. Narottam Priya Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, Praneshwar Prabhu mentioned many devotees who were instrumental, and in his humility, which he is personified, he did not mention his own name. But although Bhima Prabhu mentioned that there should be an app, after that, the daily driving, every day he used to pick on us, there should be an app, there should be an app, there should be something. And then he got one devotee to make a wireframe, and after which our team got involved, and regularly he's been taking updates. So big thank you to Praneshwar Prabhu for making this happen. Now I will just share my screen on mobile view. Yeah. So the app is called Pridanga.
You got muted. Sorry.
Can you click on it? So there are two kinds of logins that are available. One is for a book distributor or a Sankirtan in his or her scores, and the other is for authorities like temple presidents or zonal secretaries or GBC members to view collective scores of their zones or of their countries. In country, of course, being India, but to view scores of their zones or of their cities, so on and so forth. So it is a mobile-based login, and I'm first going to log in as a book distributor. So when I log in as a book distributor, this is what I see. I see my score. So this is a score which I would have reported either today, in the case of 711.25, these are book points, my weekly score and my score for the month. And below that, I can see my rank in terms of a temple, my rank in my rank, and my overall India rank. So the way I update my score is on the bottom left corner. There is this tab called Update Score. When I click on that, it takes me to this very simple chart and books that have been distributed today. So for example, if we distributed 5 small books, 1 medium book, we distributed 125 Mahabigs, we distributed 50 sets Bhagavatam, we distributed 5 sets of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And if I just did this much, there is scope to input magazines that are distributed, monthly subscriptions, and the points are automatically calculated, and I just hit save. When I hit save, my score gets updated. So now I can see today's score gets increased by that much amount. I can also key in a score of a previous day. For example, if I forgot to report a day, I could go back and input yesterday's score as well. And again, when I come to home, I can see my performance, what I have done, and I can also see my rank vis-a-vis the. So my rank today could be 1 and tomorrow could be 10. It depends on how the others do. Also, apart from this, there are quotes which are going to be updated on a daily basis. Inspirational quotes from Srila Prabhupada about book distribution. Just to clarify to people, the point system is clearly mentioned here. And contest, so for example, now whatever is the next event for the marathon, details of that will be here. When Bhadra comes, Bhadra's detail will be there. My score statement is going to give me my score, what I have distributed today. I could go back and see my scores also. I could see my historical book distribution, what has happened. This will also provide me a monthly range. I could see my score for December. I could see my score for the entire year. This is also, as of now, available in English and Hindi. So for devotees who are more familiar or prefer Hindi more, then the same thing is available in Hindi. We are working and eventually we will roll it out in other regional languages as well. There's a help bar here. You could, the app will take you through the features of this app. You could give feedback there. And so it's very simple. We haven't kept it very complicated. Just log in and key in your score and you can be out in less than a minute. So this is the book distributor login. We also have for the authorities who wish to review, say during the marathon, if one devotee has 10 temples under him or her, then over here in one shot, they could view all of them. And if someone is not reported scores, they could even go back to that devotee and ask them what happened. So here in an authority login, they will get to see India score. So India score today, India score for the week, India score for the month, divided amongst zones. So Eastern India Divisional Council, Western India. So this is a over that every authority would get of the book distribution that is happening in India and across the zones. And then they could, if they hit on center, which is the bottom right corner, they can view the center-wise book distribution. So for example, if I select North Zone, for example, and if I select New Delhi, which is one of the hubs of book distribution in India, it's going to give me all the temples that are categorized, and it's going to give me the score of those temples. So for a leader, it would be very do this. This can further be divided after choosing Delhi into categories also. So if you want just big temples, branch offices, you can click on that and you'll only see that. Similarly, this can also give you district-wise scores. So if a has specific cities in a district under him or her, then they could just hit on district and they would see that. And otherwise, when they just hit on district, they'd also see the leaderboard. Today, which temples from which districts are in their top 10. Other features remain the same. The quotes are there, the contests are there, the language change of English and Hindi is there, and they can give their feedback. So this is our app. This is this will definitely, because we all know how tedious it is to get scores reported. Sadhya Prabhu mentioned 25.9. That was the reported score. There would be some temples who wouldn't have even reported their scores last year. So by this app and by temples embracing this, we will definitely see a pickup in book distribution. It will also be very when everyone reports their scores on a daily basis in events like the marathon or Bhadra, it will automatically push others. They'll all be able to see what another temple is doing. And this will definitely lead to a further increase in book distribution. So that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Narendra Prabhu.
Okay.
For
All right, Praneshwar Prabhu. So I have some issues, looks like for screen sharing. So the app launched, and this is a major milestone. This is very well designed and amazing, using technology in the service of book distribution. Jai Hari Bo, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Sadhya Prabhuji, for officially launching Srila Prabhupada's Brihat Pradanga app. Right. So also thank you very much, Narottam Priya Prabhu, for this excellent tour. Right. Please note that there are some small fine tunings which would be done in this app, and it will be ready for usage from December 1st, 2022 onwards. And we will be shortly reaching out to all the leaders. We'll be making login IDs for all of them and inform them how to use this app to report scores anytime, any place, even right on the road. If somebody is distributing books, they can do it right on the road from their mobile. We would like to kindly request all leaders and book distributors of India to use this app for this marathon and even after that. So now we would like to move on to His Grace Vaisesika Prabhuji's interview with us. Right. So Hare Krishna Prabhuji, On behalf of ISKCON India and the ICC Marathon Committee, we would like to heartily welcome you to this inspirational program today. We're very grateful that you're joining us today, especially it's early morning for you in the USA. Right? And just for your information, this program is being and it would be viewed by all ISKCON leaders and other devotees and congregation youth in India. Right, so I would like to briefly introduce Prabhuji, His Grace Vaisesika Prabhuji, before we go on with this interview. Right, so His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu, he's the temple president of a very flourishing community in California, right? And I believe it's Silicon Valley, and he's a GBC member. Also, he's initiating spiritual master. And apart from that, he's the director of marketing, communications, and innovation at the BBT. Right, so right, he has been instrumental in inspiring and empowering ISKCON communities for book distribution, and basically he has been sharing inspiration, strategies, and best practices to start and maintain their own team-based book distribution programs. Right, so he's also launched global campaigns like Bhadra Purnima and Live to Give, this marathon campaign, under which several communities around the world, they are coming together to distribute tens and thousands of books and Srimad Bhagavatam sets. Right, and also one last thing, this is a very short introduction, right, about Vaisesika Prabhu, is that he's the author of the bestseller BBT book, which is named Our Family Business, The Great Art of Distributing Srila Prabhupada's Books. Right, so I would like to I thank him again and get to start the questions for the interview. Are you ready, Prabhuji?
I'm ready, Praneshwar Prabhu, and I'm deeply grateful to be with all of you. There's no place I'd rather be. Just the conversation and the way that you all come together and are working together to expand book distribution just makes me feel at home. And I deeply appreciate your association and all that you're doing. Thank you for keeping me close.
We also deeply appreciate your association, Prabhuji. Right, so to start with the interview, some few questions are there. To begin with, I would like to ask, what is that single most factor, that inspiration, that realization, which has been driving you, is driving you and will be driving you for this tremendous contribution of yours of leading the global promotion of Srila Prabhupada's books? I mean, if there is one single inspiration or if there are more than one, please kindly share.
Thank you, Prabhu. I first offer my obeisances to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to all my exalted God brothers that you mentioned during this call, who have always set the pace to follow Srila Prabhupada's order to distribute books, and to all of you who are my life and soul. Just considering Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, Ekeha Kurunandana, Prabhupada emphasized the key to success in life is to find out what it is that's most important to the spiritual master, and then keep one's mind focused there. And in considering all the different ways that I can engage myself, or the ways that I could give my full attention, I don't see any single activity, although all of them are glorious and important, that is more important to Srila Prabhupada and more pleasing to him than book distribution. So because it's helpful to have a place to place my attention, I consider that to be the one place that's most important to give my full energy. That is book distribution, because Prabhupada in so many different ways expressed his interest in book distribution, and he demonstrated in himself, in his own life, the way he said he took it from, I was just in Radhakund recently, and I was walking with one of my godbrothers, His Holiness Hanama Preshak Swami, and it we were having a conversation as we walked along. And as I was talking to him, I was remembering how Srila Prabhupada had walked with his spiritual master along the same road that we were walking on. And then he had sincerely asked Srila Bhaktisiddhanta a question, like, what pleases you the most? And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta had unequivocally told him, if you ever get money, print books, you should spread this all over the world, Western speaking, in the West and so forth. And I just had this visceral experience that, yes, this is the one place to put my attention that's most important.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Yes. My second question would be, would you like to share one of your most favorite Sankirtan stories regarding book distribution?
Sure. I like to share fresh stories because you can always go back to the old stories, but I was out yesterday, actually. I went out most of the day yesterday, and I took out a lot of youth because I like to invest a lot of my attention in the youth, because as they're coming up, I see they have so much potential. And if they learn Sankirtan and they learn Prabhupada's books early on, then they become great leaders. And so I took out about 20 young people. Some of them were like 14, 15. Others are more like 18, 20. And we went to a mall and we were distributing shop to shop. And at the end of my stay at that spot, I moved to a few spots. I was going around in an outdoor cafe, and I was showing books to the different people who were sitting there, sort of lounging around, drinking tea, coffee, and things like that. And so up to that point, so many people took books. And then I went to about 5 different tables and nobody would take. But I just kept going, and then it was time for me to leave. And as I was leaving, one of the youth came up to me and said, as I was going around showing people and them rejecting me and pushing me away, one of the people that was observing came up to him and said, I'd like to give a donation, because he saw that we were making the effort. So the person who was just passively observing appreciated and didn't even know what we were doing, actually, but just saw that we were trying to do something spiritual, and just voluntarily gave a donation. And it reminded me that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta had told his Matbasis that you should go out every day and knock on at least 3 doors. And he said, even if people close the door on you, they'll still think, oh, somebody spiritual has come to my door. So it just reminded me that we don't know the effect that we're having out there. You know, we can go along and people can be rejecting us, but at the same time, somebody's watching and appreciating and taking it in by our example that, no, this is important. Spiritual life is important. So that was something that's just close to me just from yesterday.
Wonderful, wonderful, Prabhuji. This is so inspiring that just yesterday, you have a story just from yesterday, and it's so inspiring. You are not thinking of retirement even after so many years. You're setting an example that the book distribution, like the leaders should actually set an example. And thank you very much. My third question would be, everyone in ISKCON knows that Srila Prabhupada would be pleased if his books are distributed. Would you like to share any pastime of Srila Prabhupada actually when he got pleased by book distribution?
Well, one of my main spots back in the 70s and 80s was in the airports. That was one of the places that we got the most traction for big book distribution. And several times I was in airports when Prabhupada was arriving at a particular temple. And each time I was there, as an example, I was in Washington, D.C., and also in Chicago airport when Prabhupada came in. And we, meaning a group of us distributing books, would be doing our book distribution. And when Prabhupada would arrive, we'd go on doing it because we wanted him to see us out there. And he always stopped he was with his entourage and coming through, but he would stop to watch us distribute books, and he would ask questions from his assistants, like, who is this, what are they doing, and so forth. The first time when he came to Chicago, we were wearing wigs because we used to do that to blend in the airport. And Prabhupada, someone pointed out to Prabhupada, those are your devotees, and he said, well, how come they're not shaved head? And they said, wearing wigs. And Prabhupada said, oh. But I just always appreciated that Prabhupada would stop and look and notice the book distributors, because that was his heart and soul. And also on morning walks, and you can hear this on recorded tapes, if there was a book distributor there on the morning walk, he'd always bring the topic there and say, so what are they saying? And what are you telling them? Because Prabhupada was and is the original book distributor, and he was always vitally interested.
Thank you very much, Shobji. I could literally see the airport, the book distributors, Srila Prabhupada, and also the wigs, right?
We have photographic evidence.
Okay. So my next question to you is, in a nutshell, as a global authority for book distribution in ISKCON, could you state 3 main reasons why every single devotee and leader in the world, including India, should contribute in distributing Srila Prabhupada's books? 3 main reasons.
Sure. Well, first is the one I stated earlier, that it's unassailable service. Prabhupada stated it many times and made it very clear. So it's also the 7th purpose of ISKCON. So this is an area around which, as you pointed out earlier, we can unite. Sahadev Prabhu also said it, that amongst all the things we can do, and amongst all the issues we can disagree on, this is one where we can actually come together. It can actually save us. It is saving us to have an unassailable service and a purpose that's so perfectly aligned that this is where we can find unity around book distribution. And another reason is that it's what it makes of us to expand book distribution, because when we have clear goals and we're pushing towards them, that's when we actually grow. And because book distribution is quantifiable, then we can see, how are we doing? What capacity do we have to reach our goals? And as we increase our capacity, as you're doing, this is a perfect example, the way you've developed this app. You know that you can't get to the next level without measuring accurately, right? So if you weren't pushing so hard in India and continually going for the next level, you wouldn't be thinking about an app, because you wouldn't need one. And there are many other ways in which locally, individually, devotees increase their capacity because they're reaching for the next goal. So this is one of the ways that explains why Prabhupada said the 7th purpose of ISKCON, which is printing books, magazines, periodicals, and distributing them, will fulfill the aforementioned purposes. 7th purpose will help us to achieve the 6 previous ones. And this is one of the reasons why, and that's why one of the reasons it's so important. And just on a personal level, it's important for devotees to go out into the great unknown. Everyone should have the opportunity, not just preachers or not just brahmacharis, but all our congregation, everybody should have the opportunity to experience what it's like to overcome the resistance and the fear of going out into the unknown. That means just approaching people and trying to give them Krishna consciousness. I would argue that that's where the impetus to hear and chant comes from. Unless we have that experience of seeing other people come alive when they come in contact with the holy name and with the books, we can easily forget how potent the process that we're enacting is. So we have to be able to test our mantras, just like in the ancient Vedic age when people tested their mantras by sacrificing an animal, and then they'd say the mantra, the animal came back to life. So when we induce all the members of ISKCON to go out on book distribution, then they get to see firsthand that this is real, because when they give it to other people, they come alive. And we remember that this is not just some ritual. This is actually a live wire.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I'm sure that after hearing this, right, many other devotees who may not be involved in book distribution right now, they will venture into the unknown and they will test their mantras. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Moving on to the next question. I have two more questions for you. Many devotees, senior devotees, they say that you're a very balanced Vaishnava, and we have observed that also, in the sense that you not only love distributing books yourself or promoting book distribution throughout the whole world, but you also emphasize that devotees should follow the instructions which are given in the books. Devotees should read the books. Like you have one program, Become a Sage, page by page, right? So like that. So would you like to say anything in this regard?
Sure, Prabhu. First of all, if any of these Vaishnavas said that about me, I'm taking it as a benediction on my head that someday maybe I could have some balance in my life. When I was a brand new devotee, I got the opportunity to go with several other devotees to meet Prabhupada. This was in San Francisco. And we were a book distribution party. We were going out every day distributing books, 1973. And when the temple president told Prabhupada our scores and explained that we were doing well in relationship to other temples, he didn't comment on that at all. All he said to us was, "You must also read my books." He said, "You must also read my books." He pointed right at me. And then he said, "I have not written these just for selling." He said, "I've written them for you to read, to become pure devotees, and to go back to Godhead." That made an impression on me early on. I already had the sense before I came to the Krishna conscious movement of reading Prabhupada's books and feeling connected with Krishna, with the spiritual master, everything. So I had that conviction, and Prabhupada confirmed it. So these two items together, one is like rice, the other one's like dal. When you put the two together, rice and dal, according to Jamuna's cookbook, you get 42% more nutrition through synergy. The enzymes combine and they become more powerful. So we have hearing, which is our mainstay. We have chanting or distributing books, which is also a mainstay. But if you put them together, the two together, you get super sadhana. It's the most nutritious balance. So it's so important for us to give everyone in our congregations the opportunity to go out to distribute books, and then also emphasize and create forums so that everyone can continually hear from Prabhupada's books, because they're the primal sound vibration of ISKCON. We can stray into so many other different topics and also get into so many other books, but who's actually read the Srimad Bhagavatam thoroughly? Who's got a PhD in the Chaitanya Charitamrita? We could spend our whole lives, 10 lives, and we would not come to the end of it. So I think it's another focus point to stay fixed on reading Prabhupada's books as much as possible. Not that to the exclusion of everything else, but I have this philosophy called core and explore. Core is 80%, explore 20%, but stay focused on what's most important.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. You have hit on the nerve for all Indians by giving this example of rice and dal. Everybody loves dal rice in India. Yeah. Okay. So my last question to you today is, what is your message to the book distributors and centers, temple leaders of ISKCON India, particularly for this upcoming marathon, especially after hearing the All India target of 2.7 million or 27 lakhs? Would you like to give some?
Yes, I would. When somebody actually does something, it sets an example for others. Many people talk about doing something. Some people say, I almost did it, or I could have done it. These are hollow. They're hollow statements. But when you actually come together and achieve something tangible through teamwork, then it's undeniable. It sends a message to the world that we have to work together and we have to actually achieve something tangible. So what I would say to all the leaders is, what you're doing is the most worthy cause. This kind of cooperation that you're displaying, the ways that you're taking shelter of the authorities who have imbibed this mood directly from Srila Prabhupada. As you mentioned earlier, the leadership there, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, for example, you brought up, he has this mood. And when we follow the mood that's coming down through the parampara, as you are doing, and then you make these self-imposed goals where you're forcing yourself to do more each year, this is what actually, this is why people join the Krishna consciousness movement. They want excitement. They want to be growing. They don't want to stay on a plateau. So you're setting an example for everyone. And my statement to you, all you leaders and everyone who's participating, is keep doing it. It's a good idea. This is the best idea and the best example. This is the tip of the spear for the Sankirtan movement, tangibly increasing Sankirtan through book distribution and hitting higher and higher goals. This is good for everybody. It's good for the individual, and it's really good for our movement.
Yes. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, and for joining us today and for a very inspiring and, I should say, crisp answers. Right, I'm sure that all devotees in India who are watching, there are devotees watching on Hare Krishna TV, YouTube, and everybody else would be watching this interview later also. They would be surely surcharged with an intense desire for helping distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. Right. Thank you once again for joining us today. Hare Krishna. Hare.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. All glories to your services, everybody. Thank you very much. I look forward to being with you again soon, out on Sankirtan or wherever it may be. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you.
Lord Premanande. Haribol.
Thanking everyone for still staying with us. And we are just on the last part of our program today. There are some announcements from our overall coordinator for this ISKCON India Marathon Warriors Campaign 2022, His Grace Vedant Chaitanya Prabhu. I would like to request Vedant Chaitanya Prabhu to make some announcements.
Hare Krishna Baji, and thank you very much for this brilliant question answer session. That was really, the questions were really apt, and the answers were super excellent and really inspiring. I would like to thank you for arranging such a nice session with Vaisesika Prabhu. And when it comes to announcements, a few announcements which are very much related to the marathon. One is that apart from the award categories that we had last year, we have, in order to encourage other temples and other centers, we have included 2 more categories apart from what we had last year. Finally, we have 7+1 categories, that is total 8 categories as of now. I'll just read out what the categories are: big temples, medium temples, small temples, preaching centers, extension centers. And the newly added categories are these: Sankirtan bus parties and second outpost. We will be declaring awards in all of these 7 categories, first, second, and third, for all over India. And lastly, as we had last year, we'll be having individual awards also for all India level individual awards. The top 10 individual book distributors will also be appreciated or awarded. So these are the 8 categories as such will be receiving the awards. And secondly, will start taking the pledges of the individual temples from tomorrow onwards. We'll be circulating the pledge form in the ICC groups and all the DC groups. I request all the temple authorities to please take out a little bit of time to fill in these forms at the earliest so that we'll get the pledges in time. And we also request the temple authorities to post their pledges on the ICC group as well. This will create a kind of a vibrant mood wherein other temples who are not thinking of the book distribution on a serious note, they will also take it on a serious note and start off with the book distribution. This will create nice environment there. So for that encouragement, at least we can post the scores or your pledges on the WhatsApp ICC group as well, apart from filling the Google form, pledge form. And we have for each of the DCs, we have DC coordinators who will be contacting you for taking the pledges, and towards the end, they will also be contacting you for taking the course scores. And the DC coordinators are as follows. For the SIDC, Anand Sesh Prabhu, he'll be coordinating. He has been coordinating for the last year as well, so he'll continue to coordinate this year. SIDC Anand Sesh Prabhu, EIDC Abhiram Nimai Prabhu, and WIDC Narottam Priya Prabhu, and for NIDC I will be coordinating. So these are the coordinators' names. And in order to encourage the book distribution throughout India, will be organizing. I mean, last year we had one single inspirational program at the beginning of the marathon. But unlike last year, we'll be having multiple inspiration programs, wherein we'll be having inspiration program every fortnight. So one senior leader will be inviting, just like we have invited Vaisesika Prabhu today. So we'll be inviting senior leaders over, and we'll be having a very short but very crispy and very inspiring inspirational programs every fortnight. And we'll shortly announce the dates. And after which, on December 3rd, we'll be having a Gita Yajna program, Gita Day program, in which we'll be live telecasting the Yajna that is being performed in Kurukshetra. This will be on December 3rd.
Gita
Jayanti program, yes. And lastly, the online felicitation ceremony, the online award distribution ceremony, just like last year, we'll be having it on January 29th, Sunday. January 29th, Sunday, that will be the online award distribution ceremony. And January 25th will be the last day for submitting your scores. January 25th will be the last day for submitting the scores, and 29th will be the online award distribution ceremony. So these are the details that I wanted to share with all of you. And so this is all. Thank you so much, Roger.
Tomorrow you would be sharing the poster also for the pledges and everything, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. We'll be sharing the All India target on the WhatsApp groups. At the same time, we'll be sharing the pledge form along with it.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So thank you very much, Vedant Chetan Prabhu, our overall coordinator for All India Marathon Warriors campaign 2022. Now we have time till 8 o'clock. So there are some leaders here. If they want to give any pledges that would inspire even others, right? In case if anybody wants to share any pledges, right? If they want to give pledges for their center, I think Sumita Krishna Prabhu is raising his hand. Right, it would be very inspiring if devotees would like to share pledges. Yes, Sumita Krishna Prabhu, please. Please unmute Sumita Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. It is very inspiring to see all of you, especially the NTU. And I am sure that this will boost the many devotees who have been distributing books, and will invite more and more distributors. We just had a management meeting. An important book distributors came together, and we decided the pledges in Chennai about 15 days back. In spite of the increased price of the BBT, the devotees were a little hesitant, somehow we were able to convince them. So we came to a conclusion that Chennai will be taking a pledge of 15,000 Mahabhindu.
Ribo, Ribo. Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Vedanta Prabhu, here comes your first pledge. You can note down. Chennai is from Chennai, 15,000 Babus. That's really inspiring. Rishi Kumar Prabhu, next. Please kindly. We have our Vice Chairman of NIDC, Rishi Kumar Prabhu here. Right.
Hare Krishna, I'm now also speaking in my capacity as Vice President of ISKCON Delhi because the Temple President requested me to be on this call and in that capacity.
Okay.
So, in the light of all the controversial back and forth on the pricing, 210 rupees Hindi Gita and 280 rupees English Gita, and comparison with various DCs, finally, there's still no complete line of sight, clear line of sight, but let's just say our current pledge is 3 lakh. 3 lakh Gitas will be done by ISKCON Delhi, that is east of Kailash. This is the current line of sight, and I'm not committing to any upward revision, but this is as is where is basis 3 lakhs.
Wonderful, Rishi Kumar Prabhu. Thank you very much, actually, for coming out early and giving the pledge. Right? So I'm sure that this will inspire everybody else to do more and more book distribution in the upcoming marathon. Thank you.
In fact, the reason Mohan Prabhu couldn't come in is that what we do is every time marathon comes in, he travels from one congregation to another and various extension centers, etc., to pledge and push them, to take a stretch target, as they say. So he is out on that. In the afternoon also, we were there in Gurugram together. From there, he went to another place for pitching. So that's, pledging, but he's effectively pitching. So
Right. He couldn't be here because he's on the field doing what he's supposed to speak. Yeah, perfect. We need examples like that. He's such an inspiring example. Yes. So now I would like to request His Grace Sahadev Prabhuji to close the program today by giving some words of inspiration for the to devotees in India for the upcoming marathon.
Okay, thank you, Prabhus. Thank you, Praneshwar Prabhu, and excellent Sangha. And this Krishna is very interested. Krishna is tuning in. That's his mission, and he's very concerned. So Krishna is available as his literary incarnation as these books. And these books, we just have to have strong desire. We just have to have pure motive. And books will find, these are the deities. They will find the recipient. I was reading a few days back, the devotee, Bhagavad Pran or somebody, he was going, he saw an Ukrainian girl sitting in the park, and he just presented the book. The girl saw the book, looked up at him and said, "Just now, 5 minutes back, I was praying to God, what should I do in life? Please guide me. And in 5 minutes, you come down here, this park." So this is a master plan, and let us be part of this glorious, master plan, and let us do our bit, in trying to shape the word karma is very heavy. The karma of the word is weighing down on us, and we don't have very much time left. But this is what is keeping the things in check. Just few months back, they were inexperienced soldiers were firing artillery at the biggest nuclear power plant in Europe, in Ukraine. They were like, we were just minutes or hours away from like a Holocaust, when you'll have radiation clouds coming to India also. But then I was wondering, And what's actually is keeping things in check is this book distribution, is this Sankirtan movement. And in fact, Nostradamus, all these word predictions have gone haywire after 1970. That's I would like to put that in a book form. Why after 1970 all the word predictions are not actually? It is actually the preaching. There are now devotees. Any home we have got a book is a holy place. That's a Bhagavata, Padma Puran, Bhagavat Mahatmya. We are creating all these tirthas. We are creating, all these devotees. And this is a spiritual revolution. Tadvag Visargo, this is. So, yeah, we just got to push, keep trying our bit. And Prabhupada said, as he said, how this movement will go on is organization and intelligence, So that's what we have in India. We have so much unutilized potential in terms of devotees, intelligent graduates who are, and in terms of so much vast congregation. We are like, so this we have to engage, we have to delegate. Bhakti Sarup Damodar Maharaj would say, don't do delegate, So we have to empower and we have to inspire, set the example and get the things going. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Sadhya Prabhuji. As usual, you are for your inspiring speech and for staying with us till the end. Also, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us today and those who would be watching this video later on. Wishing all of you a very happy Marathon 2022. Please stay tuned for more programs. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution Marathon ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.